So the question that I had originally was, once you made the decision to transition, how did the people in your life respond? And I wrote down, this was the other night when I was brainstorming, like 5 emotions that came to my mind first. So how did people in your life respond? Wonder, curiosity, 'cause those are like the same thing. Jealousy, confusion, and happiness. And what I remember thinking was the people that knew me the best and like knew me, not just as a pharmacist, but like as a person and all the stuff that I've had to do in my life and overcome. They were so happy for me and so encouraging. They're like, okay, like we can see this makes you really happy. This something we haven't seen you this excited about something in like years because you've been so drained. So it's nice to see you. They're like, I remember one of my best friends from pharmacy school too. She's a pharmacist. And she's like, we don't really know what medical writing is or how you do it. But whenever you talk about it, you get really excited. So we're really happy for you. So whatever, like, we just want you to be happy. But then I do remember some other people were very like, I think once you start succeeding as well, like and it maybe didn't hit in the beginning, but during the first, oh, you could start to get some jobs, you start to get some income from it. And then they start to get jealous and upset and angry. There was definitely a friend that I'd had for a long time. And let's see, 2020. So a year and a half after starting my medical writing company, I had within that time, actually a little over 6 months after starting my business, I moved to a different part of California, to a different part of the state entirely. And I got a job at the hospital, which was better than retail. And within a few months of that, I actually was able to buy my own condo, to buy my own house by myself. And I remember one of my best, and medical writing helped 100% with giving me the confidence to like move, to apply for the hospital job because I felt like I had done stuff on my own. I had more confidence and then to buy a piece of property and now to be able to do things in my life because of this supplemental income from medical writing. One of my friends, I remember she said, this was after I bought my house, she said something like, well, like stop achieving so much because you're making us look bad, because you're making us all look bad, something like that. And I was like, okay. So I didn't talk to her for a while, and now I'm still kind of like, I don't want to share stuff about my life because you're not happy for me. So I think it is like over the time, so the people that were more jealous and angry and confused, it doesn't get better. I don't honestly think they're gonna be happier for you the more you succeed and the more you write or the more you grow your business. I actually started another business this year for my artwork. So having how to start an LLC, how to do all the stuff like from medical writing helped me. So now, the more that you do in life, I don't think those people will change, unfortunately. So it is a good lesson to like learn how to like cut some people away in a respectful way and just be more protective over who you share things with because if they're not excited for you it like makes you bummed on yourself. And I remember being super bummed when I would tell older people, like older relatives that I looked up to and really valued their opinion, and if they were super cynical and been through parts of their life where things didn't work out and they just take it out on you like, well, that's never going to work out, or oh, you can never make any money doing that. And you're like, oh, like I know you're really smart and I trust your opinion. So it's really confusing to me to hear you not be supportive because I don't know if I should believe you. And now I start to doubt myself because I'm like, I will ask this person for advice and they, have given to me over the years and I really valued it. And then you tell them about your business, you tell them about freelance medical writing, and they kind of shoot you down. And I'm like, whoa, like, am I in the wrong? Like, should I not be doing this? And then I was like, then you kind of think about it. And then remember all these other people. Okay. So this was a piece of advice I did want to share because this is really important. And this was a question, how to deal with the people that are not supportive. And what came to my mind when I was doing the notes was, when I would hear those people that I really looked up to and value their opinion, they would kind of shoot me down and be cynical about this whole idea. Is I remember I would think about Sophie. and how she's in the field and she was really supportive. So I would think I would compare like this person, do they have any experience medical writing? No. And I'm like, okay. Have they ever started their own company? Maybe no. I'm like, okay. Are they a pharmacist? No. Okay. They haven't been in my shoes. They don't know the field. So why am I really going to listen to their advice? You wouldn't listen to someone's advice on how to do something if they've never done it. So then I was like, okay, they just don't know. And then it's so much easier to let things roll off of you when you ask yourself like those questions like, have they ever started their own company? Yes or no? No. Okay. Do they know anything about medical writing? Have they ever written anything? Do they have a background in the medical field at all to give them the credibility to do medical writing? So that helped me a lot. And then it still respect their opinion, but over the years, then I just kind of stopped listening as well. And kind of knowing when to ask certain people certain things based off of their own life experiences and their credentials, not a blanket of everything in life. So knowing like how to partition out that advice.
Yes, it's a really important process to sort of train your it's like a thinking skill, I think, to receive whether it's a positive or negative feedback from people and try to sort of weigh it against yeah, like the facts of the situation, like how much experience do you have or do I have? But it's also weighing it against having a more clear and also genuine understanding of yourself. And as long as you can remember and understand that like I do have the tools and abilities and traits that will help me succeed, then it's okay to keep pursuing these things. And then I like how you laid out kind of the main emotions that you receive from people. Jealousy, I think, is a big one. One thought that I'm having is that when it's a change for you, but it's also a change for the other person too, in terms of what they know about you, their understanding of you. And so each person copes with change in different ways. It could be positive or negative. And so it's important to, when you're describing sort of like healthy detachment, it includes, I think, how the other person is processing what you told them. And the way that you process what you're going through or the decisions that you make should not be based like mainly on what's going on for another person. Like that's a whole other person's life. They have other things going on other than knowing you too. That's probably impacting how they feel about it. What views or advice do you have on learning to trust yourself and self-validate? Sounds like it's more related to how you have the conversations with yourself when you're going through your life. What are some things that you found that work for you?
Great question. And this is something I've been working on probably the past 5+ years more so. Something that helps me a lot whenever I feel down or unsure is what I'm going to talk about is like kind of cheesy, but honestly, it works and it's worked for me. So I was like always searching for inspirational people on YouTube or motivational talkers. Like I remember Gabrielle Bernstein, she had a super attractor book and I was listening to that. There's just so many great people out there. Anyways, I stumbled upon some YouTuber who, yeah, who had this. She was talking about how she broke out of her life and then she does her own freelance content. And she ended up like moving to Portugal and doing that on her own, which is super inspirational. But she had this affirmation and it really stuck with me. And it's something that I kept on saying a lot, along with a lot of other affirmations. She said, what I want is already mine. What I want is on its way to me. I would just recite that because and this has to do a lot with like, if your mindset is that you already are there, you're already that person that has like 3 medical writing jobs and you have this project and you have that's like what you already believe is happening, then that's what you're going to attract. So that affirmation has helped me a lot. There's a lot of other really good ones. Self-care is big, or I actually got an angel card deck. I found it and that was really cool too, because there was one card affirmation that said, my income is constantly increasing. And I remember looking at that. So I think every couple months, whenever I felt like stuck or I needed something to kind of boost me, I had this angel card deck or positive affirmation deck. And it was like a bunch of cards. But I remember that deck and just picking one out whenever I feel down and putting it right on my where I brush my teeth in the morning. Or another thing is, this was back in the day, I had them all taped all on my front door. So every time I left my house on my front door, there was just like a bunch of affirmations. And it would be like, I am like an asset to the universe, and like everyone loves me, and like stuff like this. And like my positive energy attracts others. And it was just a bunch of stuff and like drawings and little things I'd print out to my front door. And whenever I would have someone visit and they would come and like look at my door, they're like, what's this? I'm like, that's like my door. So whenever I leave my house, I see some of these things and they give you that mindset. Or some people put like little things in their car. So just placing these things as reminders, giving myself pep talks is one. I made a list. I had a post-it that I taped on my computer monitor under the screen. So every time I was at my computer, I would look at this post-it, and even if it was subconsciously looking at it, it was there. There wasn't anything else on the computer monitor. It wasn't a whole bunch of it, just that one post-it. And it said, "Don't give up." Looking back, I probably would have written something more positive, like just keep going, because that has a more of a positive connotation than don't and then give up, which are all like negative words. But at the time, that's what I wrote, don't give up. So that's kind of that one post it. So I would place things strategically around my house and in my life to remind myself of that. And I would listen to inspirational things on Spotify. There's a lot of great stuff out there, and YouTubers and like these people that I didn't know that were somehow like changing my life for the better and making me feel really encouraged. So that's kind of like what I did. Holding myself accountable. Monthly check ins are great. Continually assessing my own goals, short term, mid, and long term. So those are the big ones. And then, yeah, giving myself pep talks, especially before doing a call with a new client.
These are really good ideas. And we need to, I think what you're describing is that it takes practice. We have to get better and better at it so that it becomes easier. We have to be intentional in the beginning. And well, we should be intentional all the time, but like the things that aren't familiar to us, like taking care of ourselves, being positive to ourselves, the way that we would want others people to be, we don't always learn that earlier in life. And so now we have a chance to make sure that that becomes a part of who we are and how we spend our time.